What is blocking Taurus? That is what today's reading is about. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're all well, happy, healthy, all that good stuff. For those of you that are new to Soul Embers, my name is Andrea. I'm an intuitive tarot reader, coach, counsellor, and I practice alternative medicine. And of course, a massive shout out to all my existing subs that keep this channel going. I really appreciate your support, guys, so thank you. So Taurus, let's jump into this. You know, guys, many of us, a vast majority, I would say, from what I've experienced with my clients, already know which traumatic experiences have led to the blocks that we have, right? And we also are aware of what steps or practices we can put in place that will help us work through that trauma, heal, release it, let it go, so that we can remove these blocks and step into the character of the person that we envision will bring us happiness and fulfillment in the future, and even the relationships, okay? The problem I often find, though, is that many tend to lapse or fall back into those unwanted patterns of behavior that they no longer want to identify with. And every single time we lapse, we feel a deeper and deeper sense of disappointment. It just keeps mounting. Our self-worth is impacted enormously, and the life that we envision for ourselves, or the relationships that we envision for ourselves, seems to get further and further away. Now, I do agree that it's really important to focus on healing our traumas and working through those, accepting them as part of our experience and our life, and moving forward from them, and healing as needed so that we can remove these blocks. I do agree, but sometimes that can be really overwhelming. Thinking about going all the way back there and, revisiting something that was quite painful, that we actually want to run away from. That's our initial reaction. We actually want to get as far away from that as possible and let it go. Can be quite overwhelming, and it also keeps us in that energy. We keep reliving it. And yes, it is, like I said, it is necessary, but today I'd really like to focus on another approach, because that can also add another step or another block to, creating a more fulfilling lifestyle in the moment, stepping into the character of who you want to be in that moment. So today I want to focus on the current energy. Based on what you're experiencing, Taurus, in this moment, what choice can you make? How can you decide a little bit differently today that will have you shift your perspective, try something different, so that you don't fall into the trap of raising those defenses, of falling into that trap of repeating those unwanted behaviors. I find that might bring you to a more mindful state of existing in the present moment. And those little decisions, those little changes on a day-to-day, they add up to a massive change over time. So this is just another way to approach it, and I would love to hear if that's helpful for you. All right, Taurus, what is it that, based on what you're experiencing right now, what can you do differently? What can you release and do differently that will help you, I guess, not fall into that unwanted cycle, pattern, way of feeling? It has to do with a way of feeling, an all familiar yet unwanted way of being. What can you do differently that will open a different path for you, Taurus? Surrender to your soul's path. Okay. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. And I'll hold the card up for you to see, Taurus, and just wait a moment for it to focus. And you know, that is easier said than done. I mean, embrace every lesson and every moment. You know, when we experience, and they call it a lesson for a reason, it is it's unknown. It's something different. It's not something that we have experienced before. Our initial reaction would be to think about what we've previously put in place that has worked for us so that we can protect ourselves and work through it in a safe way. But with the lesson, there is often a lot of inner conflict that's created about which way to move forward, which is the best way to move forward, that you feel you honor your integrity, that you uphold your standards, and that you also are, you know, flexible and you're accepting of the other people that are involved or the other person that's involved. So there is this essence at the moment with you, Taurus, that there is resistance, okay? There is this element of resistance where you have envisioned something working in a particular way, something going in a particular way. There is a dream or there is something that you want to manifest in your life. Now, whether this has to do with a particular person, it could have to do with your finances, your career, your stability, like apply it wherever you want, because the same message applies. And the block, it actually, you know, it applies to every area of our lives, yet certain situations or relationships really trigger it. And what we often do is we think, okay, so that's where the problem lies. That is the trigger. That is what really triggered you. But if you look at the other aspects of your life, you'll see you're approaching it or you're viewing things in the same type of way. So what I'm getting here is there is this resistance. You really want to accomplish this goal and you're doing what you can. I do feel energetically that you are open-minded, that you're willing to explore approaches that could, I guess, fast-pace this or manifest this. And you're getting a lot of pushback. And, you know, this could be like you've gained a little bit of momentum, Taurus, in this situation, and then all of a sudden something happens and you can't prioritize it anymore. And so it just feels like any obstacle that could present itself and test this, whether it be a relationship, it's constantly being tested. And every time this happens for you, you have to question yourself. How much do I want this? How much do I want this? What am I willing to sacrifice to achieve this? How much of myself am I willing to sacrifice to achieve this? And that's where this comes down, what this comes down to at the moment. The question I'm getting is how much of yourself, of the essence of who you are you willing to sacrifice in order to achieve this goal in a way that you would like to achieve it? You know, there are reasons why we're not able to reach the outcomes that we want. And it does have to do with the lessons that we have to learn or the wisdom we have to gain that gives us the resilience, or that gives us the, the wisdom, the knowledge that we need to actually undertake the goal and nurture it and maintain it, right? So at this point, if you're finding, Taurus, that you're faced with constant pushback, that you can't seem to make positive headway, that you're feeling frustrated, that you're feeling that, you know, everything that can test you is constantly testing you, if you just feel that things aren't breaking your way, perhaps it's time to just take a step back. I'm not saying forget about the goal. I'm just saying allow opportunities to come to you. At the moment, it feels like the polarities are really off. So I have this, the polarities in saying that we've got two negative charges, and the more one tries, the more we try to pursue, right, two negative charges, push them together, they just repel themselves apart. And the closer or the more concentrated it becomes, the more powerful that resistance is. And that's what I'm feeling. So my message for you when it comes to this block, let me back up. My message to you is perhaps there was a time where certain things happened and you felt that you did not have any control of what the outcome was going to be. And it ended up in a way where you were left exposed, vulnerable, and extremely, extremely hurt. There was a lot of loss involved. Now, based on that experience, you never want to go back there again. You want forward movement. This is what I'm getting. And the result of that experience is that now you're not willing to really try to, even though you're open, you're not really willing to try approaches that are going to put yourself in a completely vulnerable state. You need that protection. And I agree, you don't have to remove that protection. But what I am getting for you is that rather than feeling that when things aren't happening, nothing is happening, and that you need to constantly pursue forward movement or progress, taking a step back to really reflect on what you've achieved right now and allow opportunities to come to you will kind of switch that negative charge around. It will switch the polarities. And the more you do that, the more you put yourself in the energy of attracting, the more you'll attract opportunities that allow you to take a step forward. So I'm going to break this down for you, Taurus, because it does sound quite generalized, right? And I want to hone it in a little bit. Yeah, there is this element of not feeling safe. Like you feel that, yeah, it's great to surrender to your soul's path. It is really important, but it's important for you to be realistic and to take steps to manifest. This is definitely about manifesting. So what can Taurus do right now that will allow them to surrender to their soul's path? I want one more card. I just wanted one, not 50. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I have a squeaky chair. All right, one more card for Taurus. Do we have one more card for Taurus? We do. Okay, great. Yeah, a lot of you, I feel, are spending a lot of time reflecting on the loss of your stability, of your comfort. I feel that, your experiences have really heightened you've become, what's the word that I'm looking for, guys? I'm looking for a specific word. They've made you suspicious of people's intentions. It makes it really difficult for you to trust and ask for help. You would rather put things in place that protect you from experiencing that depth of loss that you've previously experienced, and that secure your stability, then go back to a time where you lost everything, Taurus. And I really do feel that this is an unconscious drive as well, that you may think that you healed from or you've released it, but you do default to, when things become a little bit uncertain in your life, you do default to being more controlling of the narrative. And in this instance, the goal that you want to achieve is a possible, but you need to drop your energy drop your energy out of your head. Remind yourself that you are not in danger, that you are safe. You have changed. You have grown. You are wiser, Taurus. You have the resources. You've learnt the lessons, right? It says here, embrace every lesson and every moment. There have been many moments for you to embrace lessons. There is an element of trust that needs to take place here. Trust that you have learnt and that you have a vast variety of approaches now that will secure your safety, that will prevent the depth of loss that you once experienced. You are not the same person and your approach will be different. The immediate sensation that you might get is the sensation of, oh no, I don't want to go back there. That's understandable. That's the moment where you can make a choice. You can choose to say, I don't want to go back there. I won't go back there. This is not what's happening in the present. I am not in the same situation. I'm not, I do have what it takes, and I will take a step back and allow the opportunities to come to me. It's okay to not be worried and anxious about my future all the time. It's okay to sit still when I feel that there's nothing happening, whether it be in a relationship or whatever your scenario is. When there's nothing happening, it doesn't mean that things aren't changing. I am evolving as the time goes, right? And I see this a massive opportunity that just breaks through. There's a massive breakthrough that shows you the next step, that starts a new cycle. This is an outdated belief you have about yourself that you really need to determine whether it's actually who you are right now or who you were. And if you want to step into a certain energy, vibration of creation, which is here for you, creation and manifestation, it's here for you, then you need to determine whether, are you that person? Who are you right now? Who are you in essence right now, Taurus? Because what you might find is, even write it down, guys, what you might find is the things that you tell yourself are stories that don't belong to you anymore. And so you're not able to level up if you keep yourself in repeating that narrative. All right, guys, I hope you found that helpful. If you do like the reading, it really does help me get out there into the algorithm, which is getting so much harder these days. Let me know if this sounds like your story. I do take personal readings if you're interested. My contact details are in the description box. Have a great week. Bye, Taurus.